is going to be the 2023 version of my Understated Luxury series that I started last year. Of course, now we're in the midst of this quiet luxury trend. So, keyword wise, I'll probably use that. It's the same sort of idea. It's luxury bags that are very minimal in terms of like their logo, have more structured, elegant, understated silhouettes. So let's go ahead and get started. Last time I did a couple different videos and featured about 2 brands each. This time I think I'm just gonna do 2 videos, 3 of each. One of the reasons is because Prada this year to me had nothing new that was understated. And so I'm just not even putting them on the list. And then I had a few brands where I covered like just 1 or 2 bags from each of those brands. And they were more like classics of those brands, so they don't really have new 2023 editions either. So today's video is going to feature Dior, Saint Laurent, and Fendi. Okay, so first up, let's go with Dior. I have a couple for Dior, a couple for Saint Laurent, and then there's actually only one new one for Fendi. I had one on my list, and then I went to go see it and they just discontinued it, so no point in including it here. So to start with Dior. So the Essential Tote, I think, is a really nice option from Dior because it's basically a large tote version of the Lady Dior. It's obviously got all of the classic detailing of that, but the Lady Dior has become so well known that I don't know how understated it really is. I mean, it's definitely an understated bag, but this one, the Dior Canage, quilting, but is not as like quintessentially Dior, I guess. But I really do like this tote. I think it's a nice, elegant, understated. It's structured. It's expensive, but it looks really luxurious. So a great understated option. Next is the Dream bag, and I was able to see this one in person. The metallic shimmer of this is really nice. It's definitely a nice looking bag. It has a little something extra to it. This seems like it's just kind of a small pouch, but it really does feel quite nice in person. And I think the subtle metallic aspect of it is a nice nod to something fun without it being like extra and in your face, that sort of thing. So it's pretty, it's a good, more understated option. And then the Key bag, I think, is the best one on this list in terms of its understated luxury appeal. Obviously it still has the CD, but it's a lot smaller than, the Montaigne line of the brand, with that much larger closure. So I think that it's really pretty subtle, definitely has an elegance about it. It's a really beautiful bag. And then last is the Say Dior. So Say as in it is Dior. I think this is so cute. I love the size of this. And I don't typically think of like raffia as being understated elegance, but there's something about this one that is just like the miniature size of it, the way that the canage is kind of more subtly woven into it or sewn into it. It's beautiful. It's a really fun little bag that is not obviously Dior unless you're really up close to it. You can't really tell, but a nice like fun summer option that's not a classic black bag, at least what I think of most of the time when I think of understated luxury. So a nice little different aspect of that. All right, so first up from Saint Laurent is the Sade. I don't know how they're saying it, but we definitely seem to be in a little pouch sort of era. This 90s, it makes me think of the Louis Vuitton papillon shape, right? This kind of tubular little shape has come back, but I think this is done in a much more subtle, luxurious, elegant way. The quilting on it is really pretty. The Saint Laurent is so small. The chain and the little leather strap on it. It's a nice little compact bag if you want to just throw that under your shoulder. It works in terms of it's definitely understated and I think still elegant, but you could also handheld, and I would probably most likely carry it in like the crook of my arm. Next is this bucket bag. And again, I don't generally think of bucket bags as being particularly elegant. In the same sort of way that the Dior one works, this one has this kind of more subtle elegance to it. I like the closure. I think Saint Laurent does a really good job with these very understated, beautiful, kind of classic looking bags. The Suzanne is another one of those small little bags. This one's really pretty. I like the hardware on the side of it. I like just the simple elegance of it. It almost reminds me of the Row, but in Saint Laurent. And again, it just has that Saint Laurent, but it's so small, definitely subtle, and I think quite luxurious. And then to me, this is kind of the tote version of that. So that I'm gonna say tanky shopper, kind of looks like my last name. So I like it. But instead of the bars, little bars being on the side where the closure is, you just have that single bar in the front. It has that nice subtle look to it. I also really like that it's a rigid leather. So this is not something that's going to get too supple or kind of collapse over time, which I don't think would be as elegant with this silhouette. You bag with the magnetic clasp to have that kind of vintage flair to it that I think really helps it to look more luxurious. And then you have the Caban bag, which is going to look more like your typical saddle bag, not in the Dior saddle shape, but like an actual saddle bag, right? What that looks like. It's, again, really subtle. I like that the hardware is gold, and then it definitely does still have that sort of equestrian vibe with the closure to it. Also reminds me of the old Gucci closures. So a nod to that equestrian kind of vintage look. So in the week that it's been since I checked out Fendi in person and the Fendi first site was already gone, now the cut bag, which is what I looked at in person, is also gone. So we'll look at this one, but it doesn't seem like Fendi's keeping things in stock. This is the Fendi Pack Shopper. I really like the chain on this. I love that it's this vintage, a nod back to this vintage Fendi chain. I think the embossing on this bag, I didn't even notice it at first. It's very subtle. So something about this kind of long shape, the chain hangs, and then you can add the leather strap as well. So you can always kind of keep that chain hanging. There's something a little elegant about it. And again, that nod to the vintage strap, I love. So that is it for this video. All of these items will be linked down below. I'd love to hear what are your favorite, and are there any understated luxury bags that I'm missing from these brands? Please do let me know. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video, which is going to be 3 more luxury brands. So I will see you in that one. Bye, have a great day.